Ever, ever. I gotta stop singing that song. Good evening, Facebook family, YouTube family. Waiting for Key Travis like usual. Hope everybody doing good this evening. We're just gonna be talking about magazine dreams a little bit. As once again we wait for Key Travis like he always makes us wait for some crazy reason. But that's what he does to us. Mm-mm. So if you have not seen Magazine Dreams, a movie starring Jonathan Majors that was supposed to come out way back in 2023 with his legal problems that he was going through. This film got shelved. Just came out this year. Was it about a month ago? Only came out in certain theaters, or it was very limited in what you could see. You might be able to check some theaters, might still be out here and there, but I think it might have only been in for maybe a week or two or so. But for spoiler alerts, if you have not seen the movie, you might not want to tune in and watch this because we'll be talking about the movie in whole and everything that came with it. But Keith Travis is a just a movie savant. He has a lot of knowledge about movies. He has a kind of a director or producer's. Uh oh, hold on, he just hit me. Hold on, I'll do this. Ah, doom, doom, doom. Yeah, I don't see you, Key Travis. You ain't in here, but I'll send you this. Mm-mm. I'm gonna do this. I'm not petty, man. I was posting the same thing. I was posting. Man, where you? I sent you the stream yard, didn't I? Mm, hold on. Okay. Players mess up. That's my fault. You get a pass on this one, Key. You get a pass on this one. I'm not gonna do that. And I hate we had to do it like this too. Hold on, let me mute this. See, I got to do all this stuff just for you, Keith Travis, just for you, man. Hey, when you come on here, don't come on here cussing me out either. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm gonna let you know right now. So if you come on here cussing you out, I'm gonna mute you. Mm-mm. And the song stuck in my head. My bad too. Mm-mm. We just got some technical difficulties getting our guest in, so we handling that real quick, and we gonna get going. All right, Key Travis. I don't want to hear it. You should be good. I'll see you in a minute, and there will be no. I know how you gonna come in. You gonna come in, try to come in really hot. I already know. I already know. So just slow the speed limit down when you get in here. Don't be coming in here like gangbusters. And we gonna talk this out like gentlemen. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Hey man, don't you stay. I'm letting you know right now. What you gotta say?
I have nothing to say. I have nothing.
Are you sure?
I have nothing. I'm keeping the peace.
What's up, man? It's been a while since we talked, since we seen each other on video. I know we follow each other and everything and can see what each other posts every day. But what's up with you and how you doing?
I just want to. Actually, I do want to say, I appreciate that you wanted to call me out, and it wasn't even my fault. It wasn't even
All
my
right.
fault this time. So, I just, I would say a public apology is due, but I'm not going to do all of that. I'm not going to do that. Um,
Since we're working on healing in 2025 and we're focusing on accountability and discipline, I will go ahead and apologize for not sending you the correct link and the correct avenue that we were going to connect on. So yes, that is on me, but I'm just going to leave it on me. It's on me. It's on me. So there, are you happy? Does that suffice for you?
as Jill Scott would say, living my life like it's golden, man.
Outside of that, man. So it's good to see your face though, man. Happy Black Boy Joy. I see you posting a lot of good stuff about your what is it? Your couple of reads that you're going to focus on this month or this quarter. What is it?
Yeah, yeah, I've been reading a lot, monthly. I don't know what really is going on with that. Been going from like 2 books to like 4 books in a month, and yeah, I don't know how that's happening. To be honest, it's definitely not trying to force it or rush anything, but yeah, I'm just like going through stuff, like going through the books rather. Relatively quick. So yeah, I have 4 that I'm going through this month. This month I want to do stage plays and screenplays. So going through those now, and I want to reread Martyr because yeah, I'm in love with that book. So I might reread that next month because yeah, I love it. Read it last month, but yeah, I love it, love it.
I was gonna say, is there a rule between or within reading, like, some people come back to reads, a year, 2 years later, or whatever. You gonna pull it back to back like that quick because you loved it so much?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way with movies. If it's good, revisit. You revisit, countless times. But at least when I was growing up, you used to. Feel like that really isn't much of a thing. Maybe it's just me. I feel like that's not much of a thing now. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't feel like we revisit films like that, like we used to, as much. Like we quickly move on to the next thing. Um, sure, that's not everybody, but for the most part, that's just kind of how I see it. But yeah, like if it's good, go back. You may see something different. Maybe you want, especially if you're reading it, this close, together like I am. But yeah, it was really good. It was really engaging. Saw myself in it. So it's like, yeah, I wanted to revisit because I laughed. And there were moments where I was in there, I was just like, dang, there were heavy moments in there. Yeah, it was good. It was, I think 200 something was actually it's on my desk. um,
Mhm.
yes, 300 something odd pages, 320 some odd pages, but it
Mhm.
flows so quickly.
Yeah.
So
But when
quickly.
you're
So yeah.
you talked about movies, but like, reading a book, that's not just, oh, Imma sit down and read it for 20 minutes and then I'm done. It's like, what I mean, that's a couple days depending on what type of reader you are and everything. So you talk about a movie, cool. I could be done with I could text on my phone a little bit, look up, dude, but you gotta be 100% in tune to a book if you're reading it. And I know you said you already read it, but it's
Mhm.
a that's
You
not
better
a
not be texting and watching movies.
I mean, sometimes, bro, like
Uh,
you don't have your
uh,
hold up, hold up, hold up. You can't even bring up text on your phone a little bit while I'm like you gotta have 100% attention on a movie,
yeah, yeah,
no matter how many times you've seen it.
yeah. My rule is if I have to pull my phone or iPad, whatever it is, I have to pull that out. It probably isn't that good.
Mm.
So yeah,
I
I don't do that. When I go to the movies, anybody that I feel would be reaching out to me that is of importance, they know beforehand that's where I'm gonna be at because the phone is on silent from credits till credits, trailers to credits, whatever. Yeah, no, we don't. Mm-mm.
Alright, we'll argue about that another day. But speaking of movies coming out, so before we get into Magazine Dreams, how excited are you for Sinners?
Very, um, very, very. It's Coogler. Yeah, no, I've from the beginning. First movie I saw of him, I didn't even know it was him.
Mhm.
Um, it was Fruitville Station, so I have only seen it once. I still to this day have no desire to revisit it because of the impact it
Yeah.
had. But yeah, no, when I saw that, I didn't even know. Like, yeah, I went to go see it just because it had gotten a little buzz
Mhm.
online, and me and well, she was my girlfriend then, but wife, we went to go see it, and deeply moved by it. And went home, and I was like, "Who made this?" And saw Ryan Coogler, and I was like, "Holy crap, you brother!"
Yeah.
So yeah, he has always been inspiration for me because I don't know I don't know if people haven't seen him speak previously or whatever it may be. I feel like he does press junkets for every movie, but he doesn't code switch. He is who he is. You like it or love it. Um, he's in my age bracket. He's not that much older than me, and it's just like yeah, it is obtainable. Through hard work, whatever it may be. Yeah, I try not to do the whole celebrity worshiping thing or whatever it may be. But
What
yeah, no,
celebrity worshiping thing? What you mean? We don't worship celebrities here. I'm kidding.
yeah, no, that's a whole nother conversation there. So yeah, I try not to do that, but I've always felt him to be, very inspiring. Just from the way he talks, imperfectly. There's it's a little bit of a stutter and everything. Like it's just authentically
Mm,
him. And yeah, it is very much just he's in my age bracket, so it's possible to get there. He's not on social media.
yeah.
So I love the fact that he makes his movies, he's gone for 3 to 5 years again.
Hmm.
That's it. If he ain't producing it, directing it, you don't see anything. I find it funny because like every time he has a premiere, he has his wife and his wife is pregnant again. I'm just like, dang.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, that's the way I would want to live. I don't want any of the social stuff. Like I just want to make stuff and then go, just disappear.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
when are you gonna
very
start
inspiring
then?
by it.
When are you gonna start? You can disappear
I'm
right
already
now.
working.
You can, and I guess, but when we talk about that, I guess that's the hard part when we talk about it because sometimes, these days you would think that you have to have somewhat of a social media to then, build or do what you're going to do as a film director to get your projects out for people to see them, for people to know about them, to then possibly maybe disappear later when you become successful. But then you also don't want to disappear on the way that you let people know about you. I know, so it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, it's very conflicting. So yeah, I don't know. And I've had moments, where I go deactivate everything for 3 to 5 months. I've done that, but I
Yeah.
always come back. I'm like, yeah, I have to be able to, show it somehow. So yeah, someday, someday.
And you're going Thursday night, correct? You're seeing it at a
Mhm.
Thursday night?
Mhm.
Is it a midnight showing or it's just
No, no, it's actually an afternoon, so it's 3 o'clock.
really? That mug, I know
Yeah,
that theater's packed. I already know.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well,
I'm
unlike
ready.
you, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go see it Friday night. So can we
May go
link
see
and
it
talk?
again.
So you gonna see it Thursday and Friday?
If it's good. Uh,
Well, what Rotten Tomatoes gave it
I,
like
I, said,
a what
yeah,
98 or not
I
like,
stay away from. I stay away from them.
but still, it's a little telling. Yeah, that's telling though.
It can be. It can be. But yeah, it's just because they take the percentage of reviewers and yeah, I have a long rant on Rotten Tomatoes, but I'll save that for. So if I go in, I love it. Which he has only made one movie that see. I hated it. I didn't like it as much, and that was the second Black Panther film.
Hmm.
And I just think it was just, of course, the
Yeah,
circumstances surrounding that film. So
yeah,
the fact that it was able to get done and even be what it was, I think is still an accomplishment within itself. But I still have my gripes with it because it felt more tied into the larger MCU and setting up things later.
yeah,
We had to put Shiri in that role a lot sooner. Um, why they didn't want to recast him. But there's also a part of me I'm just like I don't want the character to die as well, just because he passed. Um, we've had what? How many Batman? How many James Bonds? And to me, I was just like initially, I was just like when it's our characters. Yep, no, you're dead. You're not coming back.
yeah.
And but it was his decision, so I was like, okay, well, but yeah, that's the only one I just wasn't crazy about. But mostly, I
Yeah.
love his stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see in a couple days. We a couple days out right now.
I
We
am ready.
we we convened tonight to talk about Magazine Dreams, a movie that you were very you were very excited to see when it came out, and then you also said, "Yo, I don't agree with what he did when we're talking about his personal life and
Mhm.
just his court case and everything that go on with that." But you finally decided to see it. But you were ranting about this movie more than me. I was excited to see it. I know you were super excited to see it.
Yeah,
So now,
dude's a talent. Like
yeah,
he is a talent. So yeah, no, it's try not to judge people, of course, but also believe in accountability as well. Um, but his talent is, yeah, that. dude's talent is just next level.
And speaking of
Next
that,
level.
I think you see the talent in this movie, and I guess we'll just go ahead and dive into it, and I'll go ahead and start us off, and then I'll kick it off to you. But you see the talent throughout this whole movie, from transforming your body. He was already pretty ripped from doing what Creed 2, like he was pretty in shape. I'm not saying that those were close in time, but mind you, this movie was supposed to come out in 2023. We're sitting here in 2025 where it just came out. So you could say roughly 2 years, give or take, from when it was supposed to come out to when it actually did. And glad that it was still able to come out. Glad what is it called? Not a production company, but a what do you call those? Not a production company, but the people that the big
What, a
wigs,
studio?
the studio. Yeah,
Yeah.
glad somebody took it and was like, yeah, we'll put this out. It released. Is it? Do you even know? Like, it's probably not even in theaters anymore. Like, it's probably out for what,
Mm-mm.
roughly 2 to 3 weeks, maybe.
We think it had that. It was on VOD very quickly, and I know the it doesn't have a Blu-ray release, which is weird, but the DVD release is next month. Um, don't know why they're choosing to release it in the lowest format, but yeah, it is available for VOD, and I feel like it was quick. I feel like I saw it, and then like the following week, it was hitting VOD, and I was like, "That's."
Hmm.
So I guess maybe recoup the money, because I know a lot of people didn't see it because of his personal issues and things of that matter too. So yeah, it's didn't stay in there long.
Yeah. How was as far as people in your theater, what percentage would you say of people came or were in the theater when you were there?
It was five people maybe in there
Hmm.
when I saw it. When I got my ticket, I was only one.
Okay.
So when I purchased the ticket, I'm like, okay, well, not a bad thing necessarily because I personally don't mind seeing a movie in empty theater personally. But yeah, when I got that ticket on my AMC app, there was nobody in there whatsoever. So it's when I sat down, had my big old popcorn and everything, and I start seeing people come in. I'm like, God dang it. So
Okay, so wait, we got to pause right here. So you go to every movie, popcorn, you got to have your popcorn.
most of them, yeah,
Okay, so
most of them.
what do you need when you sit down in your seat for what's the average or the regular movie trip like with Keith Travis?
Oh, yeah, well, so that's a large popcorn, a large soda. I don't drink soda a lot, so usually when I go to a movie, that's when I
You
have
let
it. And
yourself go.
it's a cherry vanilla Coke that I go for. My wife usually gets the nachos.
Okay.
So I need the big one. Sad thing is, and she makes fun of me all the time, that big thing of popcorn is usually gone by the time the movie starts because you sit through 45 minutes of
Dang.
trailers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love popcorn. Isn't it? We have a popcorn maker here, so yeah,
Oh, oh, see,
yeah,
y'all are really about that life. Like, I just think I'm about that life, but y'all really about that life. No.
yeah. It's a bus. You can't. It's like you can't do that. You can't.
Yeah.
Even though with that movie, I didn't have to have it because it was such a an intense film.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like it's a given. You got to have something when you go.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna kick it to you, man, because I know you always are bursting at the seams with what you can say and what you want to say. What'd you think about the movie? Let's just go into it.
Um, that is so. I enjoyed it. Thought it was great. I think it was a little bit too long towards the end. I feel like it started to drag a little bit towards the end, so we probably could have shaved some of that off. But I was very much. It's like I told my wife, it's like it's not something I just rush to go see again because it is such a intense film. That's not saying it's bad, but it's not one of those films that you leave feeling good after watching. You don't feel good watching it. Um, yeah, it just the whole entire time I'm watching it, I'm just like, and I said it when I saw him way back in The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I was like, I think this guy is a generational talent. I still feel that way. Uh, will he ever have his redemption story? I don't know. Um, you know, if Robert Downey Jr. could have it. There's plenty of actors that went off the deep end and, you know, they were able to have their comebacks. I think his biggest thing is, disappear sometimes. And I know that may not necessarily be the easiest thing because, he's still a fresh actor. So you still need to have income and things of that magnitude. But if you can't afford to do so after something like that, go away, just disappear maybe for 3 years or so, let people forget you, then try it again, come back again. Um, but yeah, no, I think his talent is undeniable. Pulls you in instantly. Uh, his awkwardness makes you very uncomfortable. He makes you uncomfortable in general. Like he's very unhinged,
Hmm.
and him trying to be normal is still cringeworthy. Watching it, like, like you
Yeah.
go on a date and she ready to tear you up, like you can tell, and you had the girl gone and didn't come back. Like you didn't even have to try. She was ready the moment she walked in. You didn't have to do much, and you still pushed her on up out of there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think his commitment um to acting, to transforming his body. Uh, yeah, I just, yeah, it was amazing to see. It was amazing to watch. Um, it did take a lot from the Taxi Driver, uh, which the first Joker movie that came out with Walking Phoenix, I felt like that did the same thing, almost verbatim. So I don't know what it is with Taxi Drivers, but I don't know if like people just find this that's the ultimate character study and just try to take that blueprint. I don't know. But yeah, no, I think it was really good. I just feel like it could have had some time shaved off towards the end.
Because it was about what, maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes, probably 2 hours and 15 minutes, like a little
Hmm.
bit more on the north side of 2 hours. With
Hmm.
what you're talking about with, him and the girl that he bagged. That's funny. No, he bagged at the grocery store that he worked at,
Hmm.
who he was feeling. Like you said, the awkwardness was just off the chain too. Like the way I described it to my girlfriend is I was like, yo, like, and throughout the whole movie, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna end. Like, I don't know what happens next. Like after every couple of scenes, and I'm just like, I don't know where this is going. And so I felt like they did a good job jumbling those emotions together where it felt a little bit chaotic, it felt a little bit unhinged, it felt just a little bit very out of place. And I guess
Hmm.
that's exactly how Killian Maddox feels in this whole thing. We can go up and down the ladder on stuff to talk about because there's so many things, but going back to the dinner that he's at with his girl, not kind of knowing social cues or just things to talk about or stay away from. And he was very nervous. You could tell he's very nervous. She sits down, they're trying to have a conversation. And within that conversation, he says, yeah, my dad, mom, my mom died. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, my dad killed her. And so we learned that's the first we learn of that too. And so we're like, and he said, when he's young. And so this could be,
Hmm.
I would say he was probably at least 6 or 7 years old, younger than that. And but
Hmm.
you can tell he remembers it. And so you're like, leading up to this point, this is probably about like 45 minutes or maybe an hour into the movie. But you hear that, and then you automatically see this woman on the other side of the table where she's like, okay, this dude's not right. And then they order food, and this dude orders food. You know what I mean?
It's brilliant because at that moment you're seeing it from her perspective. The audience is seeing her perspective because we're in the dark too. And the way it was revealed by his parents, my mom died, and then my dad died, but he killed her and then he killed himself. And it's like an awkward pause, and it's just like, oh, and then he goes into the next thing, and the way he ordered the food and kind of criticizing. It was like, you know what, better yet, don't bring that. Bring it this way and do it this way, and I'll do it this way. And then it's just this plethora of food. And if I remember correctly, because I haven't seen it since the theater, I think he ordered first. He even let her order first.
Yeah. Yep.
So he went and ordered all his stuff. And then, she goes and orders her little small, whatever it was that she had. So, yeah, no, it's just, it was fascinating to feel like in a lot of ways, we're the observer. We're not seeing it through his eyes because everything is so tight lipped. We only know the stuff
Yeah.
until it's revealed. He reveals it
Yeah.
to the audience. So yes, yeah, you bring up a good point where you're not knowing what's going to happen. So when he goes to the shop and destroys it, and you're like, oh god, what's the payoff? Because and it's like it doesn't immediately happen. It's like
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer when
Yeah.
he's ready to go to the show, and then they show up and they're not showing it, but they're showing it, and it's the use of sound, and you're just like, golly, and it's like this fool still went.
Yeah. And I'm over here like cringing, like, oh, don't go. And he shows up, and you're like just wondering what everybody else is gonna look at him like. And he's in no shape to, what I mean? But that's what and there's like layers to all this. There's a lot of layers to all this as we look at it. But he like you go and destroy this store, and they're gonna be able to trace it back to you because you just called them on the phone angry that they didn't come, fix your pawpaw's house for some paint that was on there. And through this whole thing, I'll look at my girl a little while through going through the movie, and I'm like, how does this dude have money? Like, he worked at the grocery store. Like, is he just hoarding his money? Is he using credit cards? Because you talk about when he goes and starts buying the guns, how's he getting in all these competitions? The the steroids that he's buying, like all this. Where's this money coming from? Where's all these things coming from? And I felt bad for him through the majority of the movie because these are the type of people that you hear about that you wish that they had some friends or they had some connection to people. Through this whole thing, you didn't see one of his friends. You know what I mean? He didn't make any mention to having a friend. They didn't allude. There was nobody coming to his shows. His papa wasn't even coming because he's pretty much in the house or just confined to the house from his old
Yeah, he
age,
couldn't
being
move.
a
Yeah.
being a Vietnam veteran. Like he's taking care of him. And there's also times where I'm like, hold on, this dude Killian, like when he went to jail, like you disappeared for 1, 2, 3 days, and I'm like, hold on, is your pawpaw gonna be good? Is somebody gonna be able to take care of your pawpaw?
I do think so. The only connection we see outside of his papa is his, I guess that was his therapist, I think. And watching her, it's just like I kind of get the feeling where you clearly see she's trying and she cares, and I think she even feels defeated because it's just like I can't help him, and it's weird. It's like he probably should have been had some type of counsel or some type of help for that to have happened so young in his life, and the only connection to the outside world being these bodybuilders and that being the only type of media he consumes outside of the the videos that he was watching online. Um, even that has its negative effects too. So it's like nothing he participated in socially was healthy in a odd way. Like the only healthy thing he was doing was working out, and even that to an extent wasn't healthy because he was doing roids as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just it was his character was very much just a mess of a person. But I do think it says a lot about us in general when it comes to wanting our goals and trying to accomplish them or whatever it is we're trying to get in life, and being willing to do almost anything um, to get them. That has its negative effects. So we saw how he he wrote that dude like was constantly writing them, and he ended up like sleeping with him. And clearly there was regret even in that. Like it don't look like something he was like proud of, but it's just like he saw this as again, this is my idol. This is who I want to be like. I will do anything. Again, this when it comes to that celebrity obsession, worshiping thing I was talking about earlier. Um, Things get weird sometimes when you get the opportunity and you end up doing things that you may end up regretting and end up compromising yourself. And I think clearly he felt that way at the end to the point where clearly he thought he was going to kill old dude as well. So um, yeah, it's yeah. I wish he had a friend like young, and
Yeah.
I don't know if he was estranged from the rest of his family or if his papa was all he had, but he needed community bad,
Mhm.
bad.
They gave us so much, and now that I think about it, like you said, it's been what, at least a good month since we've seen that movie. You sent me a very good article on that movie in Substack. I read 3/4 of it, and it was very interesting. And I think that was I read it, got into his story, and then right when he was probably about to get back into talking about magazine dreams in the movie, I kind of exited back out, and I was going through it before we got on. But the situations pop up really quick and they're really unexpected, and that's what I said when I was talking about the movie. I didn't know what was going on next, and you could talk about all these situations and you can just see he's disconnected. You know what I mean? There's just times where he missed work because he got in that, I think it was that car accident, um and got hurt really bad, and his boss was like, yo, I'm gonna have to let you go, this is, and Killian was like, nah, don't let me go, blah blah. And he's like, what about the last time where you missed 3 days and because you tore your bicep or whatever he said. And Killian goes, whatever muscle it was. I forgot what it was. He said tricep and it was bicep or something. But Killian's just like, he gives this whole rant. The boss gives this whole rant. And then Killian goes, with my tricep. And the boss goes, what? He's like, I tore my tricep. Like, hold on, I'm telling you, I'm firing you because this is your, what I mean, this is your second time doing this, and I didn't even, I turned the other way you did this last time, and the only response you have for me is that I named the wrong muscle that you tore, but also you got this big
And
black
that's so
dude,
much.
but also you got this big black dude in front of you, and right when he, bowed up, the boss is like, all right, hold on, you can keep your job, like, hey, it ain't nothing that needs to happen, you know what I mean? But it's those instances. You talk about that, you talk about him losing his temper, but this is a person who is going through all this stuff, and like you said, he's writing a bodybuilder. He wrote him at least 4 or 5 times while we're watching, and then one of the last times he writes him, he's like, yo, this is the last time I'm writing you, da 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 da, until he gets a phone call from him, and then he's just struck like, oh shoot, this is
Mhm,
the dude I've been trying to get in contact with. And I knew something like that was going to happen, I just didn't know how. And
mhm.
but then the little twist on that was, them sleeping together, and I'm over here like, what? And then they go from that to at one point in time to him sneaking in to somebody's apartment. I'm like, where's he at?
Mhm.
And then the guy comes in. I'm like, who is this? I haven't seen this dude yet. And then come to find out, it's the judge that said he had small quads years ago in Florida or at a competition. What?
Yeah, even the hooker he was gonna hook up with,
Tried to kiss her.
and again, he's spending the whole entire time talking about his body, and it's just like, dude. But I do think it also that scene also was important to show that he was looking for connection as well. And eh, again, him not having social norms or anything to that extent, that's not who you go get it from. Like uh, yeah, she want the money and she want the one thing, and then we're done. That's it. There's no connection. And then towards the end, he's like, yo, you don't like me, and then like storms out, and it's just like It's like, and I'm with old girl. I'm like, girl, you can get on up out of there. Like that ain't the one. Like that is not the one. So yeah, no, he. I hope he went back to therapy after the end of the movie or something to try to get himself back together. Um, but even then, like it ended on a note to where it was just very much like I'm still gonna go after it, but it's more so I'm gonna be the best version of myself going after it and not trying to be the next version of you or what anybody asks me to be, which is a good message, but you also need to go back and get therapy too and, and get your life together or get something. So I hope I only hope that's what he did.
There's a whole lot of work to be done, and not saying it's never too late for the work. Let's just say that, but when we talk about there's so many things you see throughout the movie with you talked about it, you can literally be in your house all day and not leave and watch videos or go through down whatever avenue you want to go down to be mentally stimulated or satisfied and all these other things, but it's also you're also vulnerable to the point where people that don't even know you or people that you'll never see can say something about you that can make you feel a certain way about yourself. And I mean, what I mean by that is by him finally posting those videos online where he takes 100 takes of him. And I don't even exactly know what he was doing. He was trying to start his YouTube channel or whatever it was, or just showing what bodybuilding is done for him, or kind of doing some teaching stuff on YouTube, and they just tore him down. They just tore him down, and he was reading the comments. You and I know if you gonna survive on this thing, don't read the comments or don't have any. I guess don't have a horse in the race to read the comments. I guess you could say, like, because you're never gonna please everybody. There's always gonna be somebody that's hating. You know what I mean? But he goes and does that, and I thought that's when he was gonna end it, because he's just like he thought he was doing something good, or he thought he had something good with his body, with his work ethic, with what he could teach people. But like we talked about earlier, the video was just cringeworthy. When he's filming it, I'm like, this ain't gonna be good. This
No, no, and the thing is, he kept correcting himself, but it's like you're also not being personable either. So it's just this intensity and overexertion and everything. Yeah, I don't know how I would take that if I saw it online. So yeah, it was very hard to watch. Most of the stuff he did was very very hard to watch. Even in the competitions, it was hard to watch because every time they saw him move further down, you see how he was reacting to it, and like how he overexerted again and again, and then he started eyeing them, and it's just like, oh, dude, I get the competitive spirit, but it, it looks like you want to kill homeboy now. So yeah, it's awkward, just awkward and very, very, very. That's the whole film for me. It's just awkward and hard to watch.
mm. And I know you said it might be, that's a film that you might not go revisit for a long time because it's just so. And the my hat goes off to the director, my hat goes off to the writer, because you're watching that movie and you're like, oh my goodness, this.
Hmm.
But in essence, there's always some truth to everything. And I'm like, yo, there are a lot of people out here that are like this. There are a lot of people out here that are getting
I
validity
think we
from.
all are like
Okay.
Chilean to an
Okay.
extent. I think all of us are. I don't think we may not be as awkward as him, but we all have attributes of him, and maybe that's what makes it hard to watch. Because they're yeah, we all see the videos of the lifestyle formula where they basically just copy and pasting and doing what the next guy does. You want it so bad, you're not coming up with something original. You're just gonna copy what they do verbatim. Um, instead of coming up with something creative, you are trying to be creative worthy because you know it's going to get people to talk. So I think there's a lot of uh, killing it in a lot of us, and I think um, none of us would want to admit it. Social media to itself is Vanity Fair, so and most of us participate in it. So yeah, I think there's people out there, of course, that are on his end of the spectrum with it, but his character traits, we all have them. We all have them.
Yeah. Going I'm not sure if there's anything like there's stuff we could talk about through the whole movie that's really just, like we say, cringeworthy, but that is important for us to see because this is what we're going through in this day and age. And this is somebody who went through a lot of childhood trauma, which nobody should ever have to see with your mom dying, your dad killing your mom, and your dad killing himself. And like you said,
Mhm.
he should have had therapy a long time ago. He should have had support system a long time ago. Um, and that he hides that now through his body, which looks great. But the interaction with him and old buddy, his idol, where he's like, "You want to touch my ab? You go ahead and touch it. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it looks nice." Um, and you have that to him turning on. Like, do you feel like his idol took advantage? Do you feel like he feels his idol took advantage of him, or do you feel like he's more mad at himself for letting him get taken advantage of, or he's mad at somebody else for taking advantage of him?
Maybe a little bit of both. Um, yeah, his idol definitely took advantage of him. Um, Even in one of the letters, he wrote it. He's like, "You did those things to me," and you know, and he said some other stuff in it as well, and never heard back from him. So I do think, for his, far as sexuality is concerned, I didn't perceive him as being, gay or anything like that. But I do think, again, it comes to the idea I want to make this guy so bad. I want to be considered something so badly to him. I'm willing to do whatever it may be, and sometimes there's no going back from that. So I do. I think he feels like he got taken advantage of. I think he's mad at himself for allowing himself to be
Mhm.
taken advantage of. Because I think at some point he kind of realizes maybe what happened, and I think that's when I'm purchasing the guns. I'm doing all that stuff, and how do I get my name remembered? Like, so yeah, I think yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. He definitely was taken advantage of. Yeah.
And I don't remember if they really said what age he was, but you have to think he's probably early to mid 20s, maybe in
Mhm.
that movie. And you look at that and you can still say like intellectually he's stunted, like in some way, because
Oh,
we
very
talk
much.
you talk about him getting taken advantage of, and you're like, all right, this big and that might be the premise of the movie. Like, yeah, this big buff dude, like no guy should be able to make you do something you don't want to do because you can physically, get him up off of you or get him away or get out of there. But then you also see him get accosted by 3 white dudes where he's holding his own for the most part, but they're hitting him with some objects and he's folding under that. Um, I really didn't think this dude was gonna be alive at the end of the movie, like in one way or the other. And it also brings to light, like, and could I think this was happening in real time, but sometimes you know how they do a dream montage, but somebody that shows up at a venue gets in, is freely walking around an event where there's, a top bodybuilder, fitness professional, whatever you want to call him, in the building, and he can be backstage looking at him in point blank range to be able to take him out. And at not one point did I see a security guard, did I see an officer, did I see, what I mean, anybody that was like, "Excuse me, who are you? Um,
Yeah.
can I help you? Are you looking for something?" Like, at no point in time did I see that. And so that's also the scary thing is, like, just with social media, knowing people's whereabouts now, like, who's really clocking you and who can get the drop on you and do whatever they want to you based upon your beliefs, based upon if they don't like you, whatever it might be. And so that's a part where I'm like, yo, this dude's about to have the easiest kill in history by just following through with his plan of doing something.
Mhm. Yeah, he walked right in, no ticket, no nothing. So um, that's a whole nother thing as well too. Yeah, I think that's a very realistic thing too, because everything is tracked now. You can easily get access to anybody now. We share so much of our lives online, which is not the best thing in my opinion. But we do so much of this, so yeah, it is easy, very easy for somebody who wanted to. They can go in and do the job. So yeah, that ending. That was my thought was I feel like I should have known better, but my thought very much was he was going to take him out and then take himself out, which is what I kind of was just waiting on. And then it turned out to be you know half a dream sequence, whatever it may want to be, which I myself should have saw that coming personally. But yeah, yeah, it's. Lily, I didn't think he was going to make it either. I thought he was done. I thought he had very much just decided that life wasn't for him. He had said goodbye to Papa and everything. So I'm just like, oh, well, this is the this is the
Hmm.
last whatever, the last hoorah that was
Yeah.
gonna be. Which I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad he found some strength within himself to know that he was more than that, and he's worthy of making his own name. But yeah, I just feel like there's still a lot more work that needs to be done within itself that I would also like see that be addressed in the ending too. I feel like
Hmm.
they focus so much on the dream aspect of what he wanted to be, which is great. But yeah, I really do kind of wish that they would have, I don't know, maybe in that montage shown him take some more accountability for his behavior and try to make amends and fix things where it may be, and they never did. So
Yeah.
that was kind of a disappointing thing. I'm just like, yeah, I get it. Great message, but what about the rest?
Yeah. And my question to you is, what do you think, or in your mind, from your perspective, what do you think was the he's backstage, he's within, he's within point blank range to shoot him. What do you think really came over him to put the gun down or put the gun away and to walk out of there and not do what he came to do?
No. um, I don't know what would have caused him to have a change of heart. Trying to just remember it from the top of my head, but I don't know what would really cause him to have a change of heart because it sounds terrible to say, but he was justified in the way he was feeling towards the dude, but you shouldn't do that. Still. So yeah, I don't know what was the light bulb moment for him to just say, "Nah, I'm done." I don't know. Maybe it was because we clearly see how much he cares for his papa, and so maybe that was in the back of his head, like who's gonna take care of him if I'm gone. I don't know. Maybe that was one of those things. Yeah, I don't know what was that. I don't know. I don't know what the light bulb moment was for him. I would have to watch it again to see if I can pick up on that.
Yeah. Just thinking about it now, man, I think him being backstage, seeing somebody that is in the place that he would like to be, I think he got the epiphany that he could still get there. I think that he was overcome by really I don't think he's ever been that close to the point that he wanted to be, I guess you could say. And
Mm,
even though he's watching somebody else do that, in his mind, I think he's like, "Yo, I'm not super far off from that."
mm.
And
The movie did end with him on the stage, so
yeah, yeah, and I'm just like, cause he's right there, and I'm just like, "What's he waiting for? What's stopping him?" I'm like, and that's why I kept wondering, like, "Is this real? Is he dreaming? Is this kinda just a like, what is this exactly?" And
mm,
you can just see him, like, I think he had appreciation. I think he knows why he wants to do it, and I don't think a lot of that's for fame either. I think he really just I can't say it's not for fame. I think he wants to be on that stage and to know that he worked to get there. Cause I mean, his regimen was him going to like he had the regimen, he had the, discipline for everything he was doing. But also we sometimes have these lofty goals or these places we're trying to get to, and it's not really realistic, I guess you could say,
mm,
but I think him being showing up to that photo shoot and kinda seeing like, "Yo, this bodybuilder gave me a compliment as far as, like, how my body looks, and this is one of the guys who's everything with him is perfect."
yeah,
So, I think that there were just a couple things going through his head where he was just like, "If I do this, I will never be able to get right here, ever."
mm,
And I think that's one time that his conscience kicked in and was like, this isn't where we need to be. And from that, you go home, and which I think the ending was awesome. Him embracing his paw as well, where you can tell that
I think it was beautiful.
both of them are depending on each other. And I
Mhm,
don't think either one of them would last too long without the other person.
mhm.
And so I think that's his pawpaw, the one that keeps him coming home, and he's the one that helps his pawpaw get around. So he's the one his pawpaw gets up for every day because I think he knows I'm the only one that this boy's got right now. So that's kinda I'm getting emotional even kinda hitting on it a
Yeah, no,
little bit because
I
I'm
actually forgot about that part, and I thought that part was actually very beautiful in the movie. He did go home, and his papa was like, "I got you," and yeah, and they're both embracing, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, we're not having waterworks up in here today. That's not happening." But yeah, no, I think that scene was very good, and I think that's the first time in the movie someone has said they got him. Like, like it's he had nobody in throughout the entire film. We know he had his papa, of course, but he had nobody. Like he was very much navigating everything alone. Um, so yeah, I think that was another kind of like an aha moment. And then he ripped all the posters off the wall as well. I think he did another video. I'm trying to remember. I think he started filming another one himself as well, if I remember correctly. I think so. Yeah,
he at
yeah,
least he put a picture up of himself.
that's what it was. Okay.
And that's important. That's
Mhm.
when you talk about that worshiping celebrities or whatever. Like you got to know what you got right now. Like you look great right now. You're still trying to get better. You're still trying to get to this point, but you look great. It's not like you're starting out and you're skinny and you know what I mean. You're just like you've been doing this for quite a while. So, but my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, no, that's accurate. That is accurate, very much accurate. So yeah, no, I think it ending with him on the stage and that being, kind of his moment at the end, and we end on that. And I think that was good. I don't know. I still wish there was just a tad bit more. I just wish we could have it's like we could have snipped something and added a little bit more. um, because I think the montage, that part was fine. Loved that.
Hmm.
But I felt like him going to possibly kill his idol, or it may be. That's again where it kind of fell into the taxi driver territory for me, and I was just like, eh.
I was
Eh.
gonna say, I think we like you said, I think we got a lot in places where we didn't need it,
Mhm.
and they could have given that to somewhere else, or not even given it to somewhere else, but I think they could have made it more concise in that sense. Like, I think we could sit here talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours on like what was crazy about the movie because there were a lot of crazy parts, but also just giving some more backstory or some more closure and because there's not gonna be a Magazine Dreams 2. There's definitely not gonna be one of those. But, like, how what did that last what did that last venture to that theater do for him? What does this hug and embrace from his pawpaw do to him moving forward? And is that having a healthy relationship with the gym and with your body and saying, all right, well, I'm not going to be a bodybuilder, but I could be a trainer. I can train people. I can, be a fitness model. Like, I don't know what that looks like exactly 100%, but that body is too good to go to waste. And pause. It's too good to go to waste for him. I had to say that. I'm like, hold on. I'm totally cool in my masculinity. I'm totally cool. But yeah, like what does it bring from here? Because no no diss, but like, working out and working in the grocery store should not be the pinnacle of his life. It
Mhm.
definitely shouldn't. And he has value. And I think that's one of the biggest things in this movie is you're talking about somebody who doesn't have anybody at all except one person. And you would hope to say that everybody in this world matters because they do. And so
Yeah.
what can he give to the world is my question.
Mhm. He
That's
definitely has the knowledge because there were parts he were naming. I was like, the what? The dealt what? Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, don't know. Okay, I don't know if I have one of those yet, but whatever. So yeah, there. He definitely has value. He has knowledge. Yeah, I just there were again there were a lot of taxi driver moments in the movie
Mm,
where I was just like, I don't. I love that movie. I've seen it a million times. It's great. I don't need this to be that.
yeah.
Um, and there were definitely some copy and paste moments where I was like, I know what y'all are doing, but just snip that out. Um, like I said, it wasn't offensive to me like they did with Joker, where it was basically a modern readaptation of it, and
Yeah.
another conversation for another day. But yeah, yeah, I would have liked to just have more moments with him towards the end, like
Yeah.
seeing him throw the guns off. That was great. Seeing all
Hmm.
those things were great. But I don't know, maybe going back to the therapist
Yeah.
because he basically cut her off. Thank you for trying to help or whatever, and then just left. And I'm just like, bruh,
Deuces.
that might be the only other ally you have. So yeah,
Deuces.
yeah, like, do you try and go get the girl again? I don't know. Yeah, it's just I just wish there were more, excuse me, more human moments towards the end instead of the over sensation that we got
Mm,
towards the end. Um, yeah, that's probably my biggest complaint.
I got you. I got you, and I hear you. As we close out, man, any last words on Magazine Dreams?
Yeah, I think it's a great film. I don't know if it's one that you rewatch countless times or whatever, but it's the type of movie I would make just because it's gritty. I like character driven movies. I like character studies. Um, so yeah, for in all those areas, I think it works. Um, I would love to hear a director's commentary with the director, and even with Majors, just get insight into what they were thinking or what his process was. Yes, this is why the home release stuff matters. This is why this physical media stuff still matters because, yeah, I would love the commentary. I'll sit and watch with that commentary because I would love to, every director, we sit as the audience member and say, I would have cut this out. But in most cases, the director had a reason for keeping it in and wanted it the way it was going to be. And I just think that type of insight is always cool to have. So, yeah, I definitely think it's worth seeing. Um, like I said, he definitely made some mistakes in his personal life. Of course, you can't ignore that. But yeah, I think his talent is undeniable. He has never given a bad performance. So
Yeah.
yeah, I look forward to seeing what he does professionally going forward, and maybe take a break. I don't think he is, but maybe take a break.
I think it's interesting you told him to take a break because I think, you know, I think actors or famous people sometimes they worry that they're going to be forgotten. Yeah, you'll be forgotten for a little bit, but you come back and you start acting just like the way you were. And I know that's a big thing with actors. Like they're like they haven't made it to where they want to make it to performing wise. Like you ask them, they always got something they're working on, but the way they do that is by taking these roles and seeing what exactly they can do. But just thinking about Jonathan Majors, you know, I hope everything gets solved with all the stuff that he's going through, and I hope at the end of the day that when it's time for him to come back into the light, he can come back in a changed person. And also, but just like you said, he has A-level talent. He does. I won't say he's an A-list actor just yet. I think he's still got to work a little bit to get there, but he has A-level talent, which is going to get you in a lot of doors and a lot of roles because I've seen him in a lot of stuff. So if you haven't seen Magazine Dreams, check it out. Go on DVD next month or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, you can get it VOD too, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
available on the iTunes store too.
Yeah.
So
It's available, but when you see it, make sure you're in the right mindset. Just know it's going to be very shaking. It's going to be very I don't even know
that's
what.
2 hours.
Yeah, yeah, to carve out them 2.5 hours, but it's very jarring. It's gonna be jarring. It's gonna be like, what am I watching? You, like you said, it might not be something you see multiple times within the span of a couple days or weeks, but it's something that'll make you think. It's a discussion piece. It's talks about it hits on healing your trauma and what's happening in your life. But honestly, for black guys and black people, it's about being out in this world where they kind of don't see you, and you're fighting through a lot of stuff, trauma, and sometimes you're going through that stuff alone. So once again, that's Magazine Dreams. Key Travis Squire. I'm Drew Davis. We'll talk to you soon.
Oh, we're not doing the key and ski.
Nah, man. You didn't want to do it, so we not doing it, man. It's you call the shots, so that's how we do.
I call it, it's your show.
You call the shots, man. That's I mean, you sit here and text me and you cuss me out all the time. So what I mean, you call the shots.
I cuss you out.
We out of here,
Lies.
y'all.